How different would your life be if you could handle the people in it with more confidence and ease? First impressions may not be everything, but they sure are important. Not only do they set the tone for how others will perceive you, but more importantly, they set the tone for how you're going to perceive yourself over the course of that interaction. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 practical tricks that you can use to avoid feeling awkward, be more confident, and therefore more memorable. But first, let me jump inside because it's freezing out here.
Perfect. Some of you are in a rush, so here are the 3 things. Name, eyes, touch. That's it. You're welcome. You can go now. If you need me to elaborate, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know the 3 things you need to do within the first 30 seconds of any new social interaction. And I'll give you a bonus trick too, that once you master it is like a superpower and not many people know about it. You might assume because I'm here talking to you in this video that I'm naturally extroverted and comfortable in front of people. And to some extent that's true, though it's only true because I spent a lot of time practicing to be that way. In reality, I'm actually quite naturally an introvert. All right, trick number 1, get their name. Whenever you meet someone new, always be sure to find out what their name is. Dale Carnegie once wrote,
"There is no sweeter sound to one's ear than the sound of his name."
It's true though, isn't it? I mean, think about it, John. If I just said your name, this video became so much more interesting, Sarah, didn't it? And what's more revealing, James, is the fact that if I didn't say your name, Mary, you're waiting, Rebecca, secretly hoping, Dale, for me to say your name, aren't you, Corey, Leanne, Steve? Okay, enough of that. You get the point. Whether you're properly introduced or not, doesn't matter. Find out the person's name. How do you do this? Great question. There's this ancient, long forgotten, mysterious, as old as time technique known as you ask. Whoa, I know, right? Hey, I didn't get your name. Oh, it's John. I can already hear some of you, but I'm so bad at remembering people's names. Don't worry, I'll make a video about that and post a link to it in the description of this one. Using fMRI, our brain activation patterns were examined, hearing our own name in contrast to the name of others. There are several regions in our brain that light up a lot more when we hear the sound of our own name. That's great, Alex, but what does that all mean? This means that whenever you use a person's name in conversation, it sends a signal to their brain that actually allows them to feel a sense of familiarity with you and become more relaxed. When they become more relaxed, they'll send out micro-expressions and body language that you will then notice and become more relaxed in this new social encounter yourself. In other words, I say your name, you hear your name, and you relax. I notice you relaxing, and therefore I relax. Trick number 2, the eyes. Now I know you've heard all about how important eye contact is, but I'm not talking about the look at me when I'm speaking to you or staring at people until they're uncomfortable eye contact. No, instead, take a look at this clip from Lion King.
Simba!
That clip is 2 seconds long. Look at how much eyes communicate. At first, Simba's eyes are timid and glum. He looks down, his eyes close, he squints, his brows furrow. All this a split second after hearing just his own name. It's all coming together, isn't it? He whips his head back, seeking his father's approval, and instantly we can feel just what he's feeling. And this is only a second into the clip. Mufasa, on the other hand, wasn't even looking at Simba when he called, and he doesn't look back after he does. Just this lack of eye contact communicates so much trust, power, confidence, all of that from a 2-second Lion King clip with no eye contact. So imagine how powerful making eye contact is.
Yeah, no wonder I'm terrified of it.
I know, it can be intimidating, even uncomfortable, but here's a trick that I use to get better at it. Before I share it with you, I need you to make me a promise. In your day-to-day life, actually try and apply some of these tricks and techniques that you're learning in this video. None of this matters unless you go out and actually implement it. So next time you're at a store or a restaurant, try it with a stranger, try it with a friend. Heck, I know it sounds silly, but when I was younger, I used to practice this trick that I'm about to share with you in the mirror. That's how afraid I was of making eye contact with strangers. All right, you promise? There's no way to do a pinky promise in YouTube land. Subscribe. Can you subscribe to my channel? We'll call that the virtual pinky promise. Thanks for doing that. And if you didn't, it's okay. I was afraid of commitment too once. Here's the trick. As you get better at maintaining eye contact with people, right at the point where you get that brain alarm, you know the one.
Oh my goodness, I've been looking at this person in the eyes for way too long and it feels like they're inside of my soul.
Just take a breath and remember color. This will trick your brain into thinking about what color this person's eyes are. And even if you answer it, they're blue, and look away, that's totally fine. You've maintained eye contact for a little bit longer than you used to. Keep adding to that, and as you get better at it, you can start asking yourself, what kind of blue are they? Like a greenish blue or a grayish blue? And then you can start noticing the person's pupils, and then you can notice their eye shape. And you keep asking questions that are distracting your conscious mind from thinking about the fear and the insecurity part, and they allow you to focus on what the person is saying, as well as something in the background that is not crippling, full of self-doubt. This is particularly useful in job interviews and high-pressure situations because it allows you to focus on something neutral and positive instead of something self-destructive. Trick number 3 is touch. It'll help you feel more relaxed, comfortable, and be more memorable. As humans, we crave it because we need it. Touch not only affects our emotional and mental health, it also affects our physical health too. Our bodies have pressure receptors that send signals to the vagus nerve. This nerve attaches our brain to the rest of our bodies. When we experience touch, our brain sends out oxytocin and dopamine, thereby lowering our cortisol levels. In regular person English, touch literally makes our brain feel happier, healthier, and more loved. There was a study done called the Midas Touch that measured the effects of physical touch from a restaurant server on a patron's experience. This was measured by looking at the gratuity percentages. Makes sense. Better service, better tip. As you may have guessed, the patrons who experienced physical touch from the restaurant server actually left a higher gratuity than those who hadn't. Of course, we've all met people who, for one reason or another, don't like to be touched, and I can already hear some of the comments coming in, so let me address the elephant in the room. Context, people, context. We don't need to add more fear and confusion through dramatic comments and unnecessary fear-mongering. Are there people out there who abuse and misuse the power of touch? Absolutely. At the time of filming, is there a medical buzzword going around that has people fearing touch even more? Absolutely. Does that mean we have to be afraid of any basic form of human touch? No. Does that mean that we should throw caution to the wind and just touch people as we please? Also, no. An approach I've found that works really well to know whether or not touch is appropriate, it's like deja vu. You ask, whoa. I've recently noticed it's become more commonplace for people I've just met to ask me if they can shake my hand or give me a hug, and thereby putting me in control and allowing me to decide. Here's another quick trick when it comes to touch. Let's say I just met someone named Victoria, and Victoria touches me on the arm without asking my permission. She just kind of casually, through conversational, gives me a little pat on the arm. I can ask myself 3 questions when I notice her touch me. In my head, I think, was I uncomfortable? Where did she touch me? And how long did she touch me for? And if I'm not uncomfortable, and the touch was on the arm, and it lasted about 1.5 seconds, then I can probably assume that Victoria would be comfortable with me touching her on the arm for about 1.5 seconds. This idea is known as matching and mirroring, and it applies to a lot more than just physical touch, but in this context, it's extremely useful. Now again, people, context, because if I notice a bandage on Victoria's arm, maybe she just got a fresh tattoo, in which case touching her on that arm would really suck and I would be memorable, but for all the wrong reasons. I hope you've enjoyed these 3 tricks, and I know they may seem simple, but like most magical things, simplicity is usually at the core of greatness. If you're a fellow introvert or just really shy, the most important thing you can do, especially during these times, is to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Just kidding. No, the most important thing you can do is to actually practice some of these tricks. Go out and be with people. If you live alone or you're more comfortable being inside right now, that's okay too. Find an online or virtual exercise group, yoga class, paint night, dinner parties, book club. There are so many different ways that you can practice being around people, even if right now eye contact means staring down the barrel of a lens. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in a comment if you try any of these tricks and how they work for you, or consider sharing this video with someone who could benefit from it. Wow. You've been paying close attention since the beginning, haven't you? Waiting for that bonus. Well done. Here it is. Here's the one thing that if you master, you can turn into a superpower. Just using this one technique, I have had so many people come up to me and say, I swear I know you from somewhere. And I know for a fact that they were complete strangers whom I'd never met before. It all started because researchers were trying to figure out a universal greeting, a social greeting that anywhere in any culture to any person meant universally the same thing, and they found one. The result might surprise you. It's not a handshake, it's not the Vulcan salute, it's not a prayer hands or a hug or a smile. It's actually, that's what it is. An eyebrow flash. Raising the eyebrows together, called an eyebrow flash, for about 1/5 of a second is the universal greeting. It signals, "Hi, I recognize you." It's literally innate. We all do it. Seriously, try to remember last time you bumped into somebody that you knew and recognized from somewhere, and what was the first thing that you do when you saw them? "Oh my God, hi!" Right? Eyebrow flash. It precedes hello, it precedes the hug, it precedes the handshake, it precedes the bow. It is universally a greeting. Now that we know this, how do we apply it? Well, next time you're meeting someone, the very first thing that you do should be the eyebrow flash. Just remember to raise both your eyebrows. Don't keep them there because otherwise you look really weird. But flash your eyebrows as you're saying hello and notice the difference that it creates in the people that you meet. Notice the difference between these two takes. Imagine you and I meet at a party for the first time. "Hi, nice to meet you." "Hi, nice to meet you." Use the eyebrow flash as the very first thing you do when you meet someone. Combine it with all the other tricks in this video, and I guarantee you'll see a crazy difference in your social interactions. Thanks for watching. I hope it all helps. Here are some videos that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.